Hello and welcome back to the Nasty Metal Productions channel here at YouTube, and welcome to another album review. And for today's album review of course, Gauntlet's self-titled album. Now, before I get into the album, we get into the backstory, especially with me being introduced to this band. And of course was back in 2013. While the band were formed in July of 2012, it wasn't until 2003 when I actually found out about them. And it was through Strapato's Rare and Obscure Metal. He was pretty much, in a way, promoting the band on his site. This was by the time I first even found out about Bandcamp, and it was through that his Rare and Obscure Metal, when him promoting bands such as Ambush and Evil Killer and some of that. It's like that's how I got introduced to them. So Gauntlet was one of those bands, and it was of course they had already had their debut EP out, which of course was titled Break the Chains. And I had downloaded that because I think at that time it was mostly a kind of it was like a free download, one of those off of Bandcamp, and I had downloaded it. It was a great EP, great demo EP, and it's had great sound to it. It was during this I really got more acquainted with the whole new wave or traditional heavy metal movement, and this was definitely one of those bands. And I definitely kept up with this band's releases because of 2014. They had released the Hostile Game, the Tamer single, which that was pretty good. That was great. However, of course, the song The Tamer does get re-recorded on this album. And of course, fast forward to October of 2017, which is of course this very year, which is almost ending in a way, is when I ended up finding out that, well, they just released an album. So it took me time to actually get down and actually listen to this, but finally giving it a listen a few weeks ago, and this is a really solid album. For their debut full-length album, this is really good. Everything from the beginning opener track, Trial of Glory, which is pretty much at 1 minute and 14 seconds. It's definitely kind of, it just gives way of what is coming to the album, and that's basically just going to be a full-fledged metal fest. Then getting into like Warriors, Vengeance, the re-recording of Tamer, Taste of Death, Back on the Streets, Borrowed Time. Every one of these tracks, it almost has kind of a almost a power metal feel to it. It's very European power metal sounding. These guys, of course, are out of Greece, but it very much has more like in terms of like the German almost kind of power metal to it. Sure, there is that UK feel to it from bands like Coven Hoof or Iron Maiden, of course, but it sure does have a lot of that German flavor to it, or even Swedish flavor at times. Like, I could definitely compare it to maybe like maybe Running Wild or Halloween. Halloween, I think it's definitely the main band here. I can definitely compare Gauntlet to, but each track, it definitely has a very good feel to it, and it's all great tracks. Really, there really isn't a bad song here. Of course, and we definitely address the re-recorded version of Hearts of Metal, which of course debuted on their debut EP, Break the Chains. And man, this is actually in some ways an improvement even over the demo version or the EP version. It's more bombastic. It just sounds more exploding and stuff like that. It just sounds more explosive. It just has even more punch to it. It's a really well done re-recorded version. And though it definitely doesn't stray too much away from the original, it's done just fucking great. So at that, my rating, 8.50 out of 10. Just a really solid album. I definitely, because of that, I definitely do hope to see more from this band, or for what they have for their full-length albums, and from there on, I know that these guys are definitely going to be going on for quite a bit. Just a really solid album. If you have checked out Gauntlet before, or have kind of found them out even through like the Rare Obscure blog back in like 2013, definitely let me know what you thought of this album. But if you haven't even checked out Gauntlet, definitely, I definitely recommend these guys. Of course, I'll link you to their Bandcamp page where if you like what you hear, they definitely got the CD to sell. So, if you have, so anyway, until then, hope I turned you on to a new band if you haven't checked these guys out. So, until then, this is Heavy Thrasher Sam out. I'll see you later. See you again. Take care.